Every day, millions of people step out of a hot shower, look at a mirror covered in steam, and reach for the same switch. The bathroom fan turns on. The mirror slowly clears. The room feels less humid. And because the steam disappears, you naturally assume the moisture has left your house. But that may not be true, because in some homes, the fan above the shower is not sending that wet air outside. It is sending it directly into the attic. And while the bathroom becomes dry, the wooden structure holding up the roof may be getting wet, shower after shower, month after month, without anyone noticing. That is what makes this mistake so dangerous. The fan can sound normal. It can pull a tissue against the grill. It can even clear the mirror. It can appear to be doing its job perfectly, while quietly damaging the house above your head. So where does all that shower steam actually go? And how can one small fan turn into a hidden roof? Destroying machine. To understand that, we first need to correct one simple idea. Steam does not disappear. When warm water leaves the shower head, some of it becomes invisible water vapor and spreads through the air. A 5-minute shower can produce roughly half a pint of water vapor. Stretch that shower to 10 minutes, and you are dealing with about a pint. Not a pint of water pouring onto the floor all at once. Something harder to notice. A pint, broken into countless invisible molecules floating through the room, searching for somewhere colder to land. The fan's real job is not mainly to remove bad smells. It is to capture that moisture and carry it completely outside the building. Completely is the important word. Above the fan is a duct. Ideally, that duct takes the warm, wet air through the attic and connects to a dedicated exterior vent cap in the roof or an outside wall. But sometimes the duct is never connected. Sometimes it falls loose. Sometimes a contractor simply points it toward a roof vent and assumes that is close enough. And sometimes it ends openly beneath the insulation, inside a soffit, or only a few feet above the bathroom ceiling. From below, none of this is visible. You press the switch, the fan spins. Air enters the grill. The bathroom improves, but the moisture has not left the house. It has only changed rooms. Now imagine that warm shower air entering a cold attic on a winter morning. The roof sheathing. Rafters and metal nails may be far colder than the air coming through the duct. The moment the humid air touches those surfaces, it cools. And cooler air cannot hold the same amount of water. So the invisible vapor becomes liquid again. It condenses into tiny droplets, like water, forming on the outside of a cold drink. Except the cold drink is your roof. At first, the damage may be almost impossible to see. A few damp spots, a thin layer of moisture around a nail, slightly wet insulation. Then the next shower arrives, and the next. In very cold weather, the moisture may even freeze against the underside of the roof. Frost slowly builds in the attic while the ceiling below remains dry. Then the weather warms. The frost melts. Water drips onto insulation and ceiling materials, and suddenly the homeowner sees a brown mark or water dripping through the bathroom fan. Naturally, they blame the roof. But rain may never have entered through the shingles. The roof leak may have started inside the bathroom. And this is where a moisture problem becomes a material problem. Insulation works by trapping pockets of air. When it becomes wet or compressed, it may perform worse. Damp wood stays cold longer. More condensation can form. Mold can begin growing when moisture remains on building materials, and repeated wetting can eventually damage roof sheathing and framing. The frightening part is that mold does not need sunlight. It does not need to be visible from the bathroom. It only needs moisture, a surface it can grow on, and enough time. The Environmental Protection Agency recommends drying wet building materials within roughly 24 to 48 hours to help prevent mold growth. But inside an attic, a hidden duct may wet the same area again every day. The fan is not solving the moisture problem. It is feeding it on a schedule. Building rules recognize this danger. Modern residential model codes say bathroom exhaust should discharge directly outdoors, not into an attic, soffit, ridge vent, or crawl space. But houses are full of shortcuts, old renovation sites, disconnected ducts, and installations nobody checked after the ceiling was closed. And there is another mistake that looks almost correct. The duct reaches the outdoors, but the route is terrible. Bathroom fans are small, air-moving machines. They work best when the duct is short, smooth, and direct. But many attic ducts are long, flexible tubes bent around beams, crushed under insulation, or folded through several sharp turns. Every bend adds resistance. Every crushed section reduces airflow, and flexible duct can sag. When warm, wet air travels through a cold, uninsulated duct, condensation can form inside the tube. If the duct slopes downward in the middle, that water collects in the lowest point. The duct becomes a hidden water trap. It may hold the water for days. It may pull a connection loose. Or it may send cold, dirty water backward through the fan and onto the bathroom floor. So a fan can fail in two completely different ways. It can send moisture to the wrong destination, or it can barely move the moisture at all. And sound is not proof. A loud fan feels powerful because we hear the motor working. But the noise tells you almost nothing about how much air is actually reaching the outside. In one field study, researchers evaluated 44 installed bathroom exhaust fans. Only 23, about 52%, met or exceeded the required airflow used in the study. The model printed on the box was not the whole story. The duct length mattered, the bends mattered. The way it was installed mattered. Two identical fans can perform very differently inside two different houses. That means the tissue test, holding a piece of toilet paper against the grill, can reveal that some suction exists. But it cannot prove the fan is moving its rated airflow. And it definitely cannot prove the duct ends outdoors. The most important part of the system is the part you cannot see. Now here's the twist. Many people are told to leave the bathroom fan running after the shower. That advice is reasonable. Moisture remains on the walls, towels, grout, and shower door long after the water stops. And building guidance may recommend using a timer and allowing the fan to continue for as long as an hour. But if the fan dumps into the attic, running it longer does not protect the house. It delivers more moisture to the wrong place. Using the fan correctly cannot fix a fan that was installed incorrectly. So how can you tell whether there is a problem? Start with the clues. A fan that drips during cold weather. A ceiling stain near the grill. A musty smell near the attic access. Dark marks on roof wood above the bathroom. Wet or flattened insulation. A flexible duct hanging in a deep curve. An exterior vent flap that barely opens. Or the strangest clue of all, zero. No visible outdoor vent connected to the bathroom. None of these signs proves the fan caused the damage. But they are reasons to investigate. The real check is not simply whether the fan turns on. It is whether the duct remains connected, sealed, and insulated where necessary. Whether it follows a short, unobstructed route. whether condensation can drain away from the fan, whether the exterior damper opens, and whether the actual airflow is sufficient. Some of those checks require safe attic access, roof access, or proper measuring equipment. So this is not a reason to climb onto a roof or disturb suspicious mold without protection. A qualified contractor, energy auditor, or home inspector can trace the duct and measure delivered airflow. Because the solution is not complicated in principle, capture the wet air, move it through a properly sized duct, and release it completely outside. That is all the fan was supposed to do. The next time you step out of a hot shower and hear that familiar humming above you, look at the clearing mirror. It tells you that moisture is leaving the bathroom, but it does not tell you where the moisture is going. And that is the mistake that can destroy a house, not a fan that stopped working. A fan that appears to work perfectly